this installment, we're going to be going over the NBA bet slate for Friday, March 29th. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our March 29th NBA slate for Friday that will be going down. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91, and don't forget about that Patreon. We are currently at the homepage of the YouTube channel. We are at 2.87 thousand subscribers. Our next goal is 3K. We're almost there. Continue, guys, to keep pushing forward. Thank you guys for all the love and support. If you're already subscribed, like and comment, join the community, and help that YouTube algorithm reach a broader audience. All right. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out, guys, in general. And just subscribe and click that button provided down below. So now for the Patreon, Thursday was baseball. We had a little bit of baseball. Just gave a little bit of baseball because I also had college basketball. We don't know those results yet. And a little bit of NBA. But the baseball looks pretty good. All right. Orioles money line and Dodgers money line. As of right now, Orioles is up 11-3 in the 9th inning. And the Dodgers are up 6-1. And that's in the 7th inning. So things could happen. But those look pretty solidified as a sweep for baseball. All right. So if you want winning picks, all right, I'm trying to be consistent here. If you want winning picks, sign up for that Patreon link provided down below. First game on the dock, we got the Golden State Warriors 38-34 going up against the Charlotte Hornets 18-54. The Warriors coming in this game fighting to stay in the play-in. Houston Rockets right on their heels. Looking at the current odds, you can get the Golden State Warriors on the money line on the road at a -650 with the comeback of the Charlotte Hornets at a +450. The current total here is at 217.5. And the spread is at a 10.5 on both sides. It opened up at a 9.5. It has been bought up. Okay. For the injury report for these two teams, Hornets are practically healthy, and we're waiting on news for the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga. He's currently questionable. So definitely stay tuned to news. RotoWire and RotoWorld. I have the link provided down below to see if Jonathan Kuminga is going to be in or out of this game, okay? For these last 5 for both teams, obviously Hornets have been struggling, losing 4 out of their last 5 games, and then the Warriors a little bit better here. 3 out of their last 5 games have been wins. These two teams have already played, and that was last month. That was a 13-point win by the Warriors, and that total was only 181, so very low scoring environment here. We're now in Charlotte, and this total is at 217.5. So the first one I'm going to be leaning with, if we go to against the spread numbers on over-unders, the Golden State Warriors as away favorites are 4-12 towards the under. 4-12 towards the under. If you want to flip that around, away favorites, the Warriors are 12-4 towards the under, okay? So that's stark right there. So I'm already leaning towards the under 217.5, just like you saw in that first matchup. It was only 181 points. They didn't even reach 200 points. All right. So I love the under in this game. And if we're going with the spread, against the spread numbers, the Golden State Warriors are 23-11 away. They place very strong on the road, the Golden State Warriors. 23-11 against the spread away. And then the Charlotte Hornets are going to help that because the Hornets at covering the spread as underdogs, they're 26-40. So let's do a clean sweep here. We're going to give out Warriors -9.5. Give me the under 217.5. Next game up, we have the Los Angeles Lakers, who are 41-32, going against the Indianapolis Pacers, who are 41-33. Looking at the current odds here, we have the Lakers as underdogs. So Pacers are at home and are favorited, -130 on the money line. You can get the Lakers at a +110. So could be an opportunity with the Red Hot Lakers to get value on them. The current total is at 240.5. and the spread is at a 2.5, well, 2.5, 2.5, yeah, on both sides. All right, it opened up at 239, the total, and has been bought up by 1 point. All right. For the injury report, the Lakers, we're waiting on news for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Both of those guys are questionable. They're questionable every single game, but they play. So we expect LeBron James and AD to play. Lakers, like I said, on a 5-game winning streak. Pacers, on the other hand, have won 3 out of the last 5 games, including a loss to the Lakers. All right, so these two teams have already played twice. The Lakers are dominating the Indianapolis Pacers this year in-season tournament. A couple days ago, dominating them. And most of these games are going over. The first game was 232 total. The second game was 295 points. And this game right now is set at 240. All right. So if we're going to attack this over under, I'm going with the over. All right. So as away underdogs, the Los Angeles Lakers, it is 14-8. They are 14-8 towards the over. All right, so well over 500 in that in that category. For the Pacers, when they're home favorites, they are 13-11 towards the over. So both of these teams play over in both those scenarios. We're going with the over 240.5. All right, now who do we choose as a winner? All right, we have the Lakers against the spread numbers. They're 17-15 as underdogs against the spread. That's over 500 record. And then for the Pacers as favorites, they're under 500, 16-18. I'm already looking at the regular season series. They already been dominated by the Lakers this year. I get it. This is a revenge spot, but you also have the Lakers who are on a winning streak, looking for a 6-game winning streak here, fighting for playoff positioning. Give me the Lakers and that plus 2.5 as well. Next game up, we have the Los Angeles Clippers here, 45-27, going against the Orlando Magic, who are 42-30. Looking at the current odds here, Clippers are road favorites right now, minus 115 on the money line. After that win against Philadelphia, where the refs clearly came through for them, they are favored in this game against Orlando. On the other side, Orlando is at a minus 105 on the money line with the get back. For the total, it's set at 210.5. And the spread is at a 1.5. So this is a pick 'em here. With the total, it opened up at 213.5 and it's been bought down. So people are going towards the under, and I have some numbers to back that up. So for the injury report, pretty much everyone's clean and clear here on the injury report for the Clippers and Orlando Magic. Russell Westbrook is back with the Clippers as well. All right, so for the Clippers, they got by the 76ers and they've won 3 out of the last 5 games. Same thing for the Magic. Magic won 3 out of the last 5 games, but they are on a 2-game losing streak, losing at home against Sacramento and Golden State Warriors. So can they bounce back in this spot here? These two teams have already played, and that was late in 2023. That was a 16-point win by the Los Angeles Clippers. That total was 220 in that one. All right, so this total is getting a little sketchy here. Even though I do have these numbers as away favorites, the Clippers are 32-37 towards the under, and as home underdogs, the Magic are 8-5. As underdogs, it's 31-38. 31-38. As excuse me, let me get the right number. Here. 31-38. Oh, just period. Just straight up. 31-38 so far this year. All right, and it's going towards the under. So both of these teams tend to go towards the under, but this 210 is pretty low. It's really, really low. I like the over in this matchup. If we're just going by their previous games, most majority of them are over 210. Despite the fact that the Golden State Warriors game, you had the Kings went over, the Pelicans went over, the Hornets went under. That the Underworld are under, and the Toronto went under. I'm going to be going towards under. Both of these teams can score points. All right. Philly for Clippers over 210. Indianapolis over 210. Philly over 210. Portland over 210. Portland over 210. So we're going to go with the over 210. And I'm going to be choosing the Orlando Magic. This is a stronger team at home. They're 25-10 against the spread at home. I'm going to be going with those numbers and the pedigree of the Magic at home. Clippers got a lucky one against Philly. They won't get lucky against this team here. Next game, we have the Detroit Pistons going up against the Washington Wizards. Pistons are 12-61. Wizards are 14-59. Two bottom feeders going at each other here. Looking at the current odds, Washington Wizards on the money line, you get them at a -130. They are the home team. The Pistons on the other side are a +110 if you believe that they can win. For the total, it is at 228.5. It opened up at 237.5. So huge number has dropped 9 points. So that stark move already is telling me hop on that under now before it gets even lower. All right. For the spread, it is at 2.5 on both sides. For the injury report, the Pistons are going to be without Taj Gibson, without Quentin Grimes, and without Simone Fontenecchio. We're waiting on news for Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. If one of these two are out or if both out, it does not look good for the Detroit Pistons and points period if both of those guys are out. So those are two big Q tags for the Pistons. Definitely stay tuned to news on them. And for the Washington Wizards, all these guys are out. No Rashawn Holmes, no Landry Shamet, no Tyus Jones, no Eugene, all right? So for these two teams, Pistons have been struggling. They have lost their last 8 games. The Wizards, on the other hand, have been winning a little bit. They are 3 out of 5 in the last 5 winnings, okay? So they beat Chicago, beat Toronto, beat Sacramento. Some solid wins there. Almost beat Brooklyn. It could have been a 4-game winning streak for the Wizards, which would obviously have been the longest of the season. So I have a little more confidence in the Wizards just off of the last 5 there. And these two teams have already played 3 times. This is the 4th and final matchup. The first game was a total of 233. The second game was a total of 246. And the third game was a total of 222. All right. Now, when you're looking at the over, it is set at 220. It's set at 228, but I'm going towards the under. My main reasoning is because of the Pistons. The Pistons can barely score 100. They can barely score 100, and this number is at the high 220s, almost 230. So Pistons are not going to help this scenario. Wizards can barely get there. They got a 112, 119, but that was an OT. Their range is from that 100 to 110 range, and they usually don't go above that unless there's an antagonizer, right? There needs to be a team that's going to pick up the pace and push things for them to even reach that type of number, all right? So we're going to be going with the under 228.5. Definitely well under. That's why it moved already almost 10 points. So get on it now, under 228.5. We're going with the Washington Wizards money line. We're not taking the spread. These are two bad teams. I'm not getting cute with the spread. Just give me the win, all right? Give me the money line on the Wizards and the under 228.5. Next game up, we have the Chicago Bulls going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Bulls are currently 35-38 with the Nets that are currently 28-45. Looking at the line right now, you get the Bulls as road favorites here in this scenario at a -190 here. Totals at 215.5. And the spread is dropping. It was at 4.5. Well, opened up at 3.5. Actually, it went up to 4.5. Brooklyn Nets are home dogs here. Get them on the money line at a +160. And like I said, spread 4.5 and the total at 215.5. So looking at these two particular teams, the Chicago Bulls are currently, for the injury report, we're waiting on news. Well, technically, I found it. Alex Caruso and Ayo Dosunmu are probable for this game against the Brooklyn Nets. So that's going to be good news for the Bulls. For the Nets, Cam Johnson is out, and Dennis Smith Jr. is probable, and Noah Clowney is probable. All right. So these two particular teams are both struggling, winning only 2 out of their last 5 games. And these two teams have already played twice. This is their 3rd and final matchup. Both games going towards the Nets, all right? First game was a 2-point win by the Nets. That was a total of 216. The second game was a total of 227, and that went to the Nets as well. And that was a 9-point win in that game, all right? So looking at some against the spread numbers, The Bulls away, they play a little bit better. They're 19-16 against the spread away. As a home team, the Nets play a little bit better. They are 18-14 at home. If we're looking at if they're underdogs, let's see. The Nets as underdogs, they're 17-28 against the spread. So a big stark difference there. When they're supposed to be underdogs, they tend to lose. This is a team here where it's getting healthier here in the Chicago Bulls, still fighting for positioning. If I'm going to choose a winner, give me the money line of the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to pick and choose with the spread here. It could go either way just because the Nets have been playing a little bit better against this particular team. Bulls tend to let you down, all right? It was a couple times this week. That Washington game, like I said before, they bounced back, though, against the Pacers. That's how Jekyll and Hyde this Chicago Bulls team is. It's a very, very weird team. But this is a spot where I have a little bit more confidence in them, getting a little bit more revenge on the Brooklyn Nets. They already lost to this team twice, all right? Finally had a strong performance against the Pacers. They should be able to win this game with Desumno back and Alex Caruso. That's why we're going to be taking the Chicago Bulls money line. If I'm choosing it over and under, I'm going to be leaning towards the over 215.5. All right, both of the previous totals were above this number. One is slightly, one was a little bit more. 216 and 227 with both of those games. I expect these guys to be putting up points. And against the spread, with over and unders, the Bulls are 40-32 towards the over. So they're going to be there antagonizing, forcing the pace to go up a little bit higher, scoring at a higher pace. And the Brooklyn Nets are going to be behind, trying to catch up to them. That's why I like the over 215.5. Let's go on to the next game. Next game up, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 39-34, going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 44-29. Looking at the current odds right now, Cleveland, you get them on the money line at home at a -320, with the comeback of the 76ers at a +260. There is no current total as of right now. When that news does come out, I will be commenting down below. So make sure anything that's off right now, I'll be commenting down below where my leans are. So I'm going to definitely take a note of that. 76ers, Cavs, total. All right. And for the spread right now is at 7.5 on both sides. All right. So for the injury report for these two particular teams, 76ers, all these guys are out. Obviously, Joel Embiid, Melton, and Covington. For the Cavs, we're waiting on news about Donovan Mitchell and his nose. Right now he's questionable, so they're going to be, obviously he was supposed to be reevaluated on Tuesday. This is the first game back since then. And we're going to be, no, it's not the second game, but we're going to see if he's going to be cleared to play in this game. So definitely stay tuned to news on RotoWire or Roto World. Darius Garland will play in this game against the 76ers, all right? Both of these teams have been struggling without their leaders. Obviously, Joel Embiid is out. 76ers have lost their last 4 out of the last 5 games. Same thing with the Cavs. They have lost their last 4 out of the last 5 games as well, missing Donovan Mitchell. These two teams have already played 3 times, and the 76ers lead the season series 2-1. The first game was a total of 241. The second game was a total of 244. And the third game was a total, was a total of 201. All right. So we don't know the total right now. So definitely just remember those numbers and see whatever comes out. Probably going to be around that 215 range. And then I'll probably lean towards the over if it's at 215. But these particular two teams, the Cavaliers at home against the spread are 18-18. They're just 500 there. And the Cavs as favorites are 22-23 as favorites. So slightly under 500 in that category. The 76ers they got robbed last game against the Los Angeles Clippers. I expect them to fight back. I think this is way too many points here, plus 7.5. 76ers are a solid team with everyone back healthy. Besides Joel Embiid, they got Tobias Harris back. They've been playing a little bit better basketball. What we've seen, they should have got that win against the Clippers. They took that win away from the 76ers. I expect them to be angry and definitely keep this game close and have a possibility to win this one here. So give me the plus 7.5 for the 76ers. And obviously I'll let you know down below in the comment section about the total. Next game up, we have the Portland Trailblazers, who are currently 19-54, going against the Miami Heat, who are 39-33. Looking at the odds here, Miami is home, and that's why they're minus 1,200 on the money line, with the comeback of the Portland Trailblazers at a plus 700. The current total is 206.5, and the spread is at a 15.5. So very high spread here for the Miami Heat. Looking at the injury report, all the injuries are mainly on the Portland side. Malcolm Brogdon out, Kamara out. We're waiting on news about DeAndre Ayton and Matisse Thybulle. They're both questionable. So DeAndre Ayton, questionable, Thybulle, questionable, and Jeremy Grant, doubtful. All right. And as of right now, Anthony Simons is questionable as well, probably trending towards doubtful. He missed that last game on Monday as well. So definitely stay the news, mainly for Simons, because everyone else is out. We're waiting on news for Ayton, Thybulle, and Simons. Okay. If Ayton and Simons are back in the lineup, that helps them a little bit. But on the other side for the Heat, they're getting everybody back. Jaime Jaquez, probable. Caleb Martin, probable. Jimmy Butler, probable. Kevin Love, probable. And we're waiting on news about Duncan Robinson. He's currently questionable as of right now officially. All right, so Blazers have been struggling as of late, losing their last 8 games. The Heat have been struggling as well. Only won 2 out of their last 5 games, and those two wins happen to come against the Cleveland Cavaliers without Donovan Mitchell. All right, so they've been beating up on poor competition, and this is poor competition here in the Portland Trailblazers. All right, so the Heat already beat the Trailblazers earlier in the season, and that was a total of 202. That was a 10-point win in Portland. Now we're in Miami here. I fully expect the Miami Heat to handle business in this game for better value. I like the Miami Heat at minus 9.5. If you feel confident at taking that 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, go ahead, be my guest, but I'll bump them down to 9.5. I think they win by double digits in this game. If I'm choosing an over or an under, all right, the key component would have to be Trailblazers, but I'll be going with the over. I think this total is a little bit too low. I get it. The first game that they played was 202, but I'm getting everyone back healthy. I'm getting Jaime Jaquez. I'm getting Caleb Martin. I'm getting Jimmy Butler. I'm getting Kevin Love back. I think Miami Heat can score well over 100 easily. And Portland they've been getting there with their hampered lineup here. They've been getting over 100 points, 106, 111, 117, 103. So I'm not asking for much for Portland, and I like the over 206.5. I think that's the best value on the board, the over in this total. All right, let's move on to the next game. Next game up, we have the New York Knicks, who are currently 44-28, going against the San Antonio Spurs, who are 17-56. For the money line here and the odds, we have the Knicks as road favorites here, minus 525 on the money line, with the get back of the Spurs at a plus 380. For the current total, it is at 215.5 for this particular game, and the spread is at 9.5. All right, the total opened up at 214 and has been bought up by 1 point. All right, for the injury report here, we're waiting on news for Alec Burks. He's currently questionable. And for the Spurs, we're waiting on news about Keldon Johnson. He's currently questionable as well. All right, for these two particular teams, the Knicks have been on a great win streak. 4 out of the last 5 games are wins, with the blowout win of Toronto by 44 points. So very impressive win there. The Spurs, they're on a 2-game winning streak, so that's positive for them. And they already have played each other. That total was 231 in that game. That was a blowout win by the Knicks. Now the Knicks are traveling to San Antonio in this particular environment, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. So who are we going to choose? Where can we find value? The money line of the Knicks can be a parlay piece, but other numbers here, you got the minus 9.5. I believe that they do cover this against the spread numbers as favorites. 25-15 as favorites, the New York Knicks. And away, the Knicks are 19-15 against the spread as well. So both of those numbers well above 500, and they play very well as away and as favorites. All right, so Knicks here. If you don't feel comfortable with that 9.5, you can bump it down to 5 or a little bit higher than that. But I do feel like this should be a double-digit win for the New York Knicks here. All right. And the total, I'm going to be leaning towards the over 215.5. The previous game was at a 231. Both of these teams are putting up points as of late, which I'm very impressed to see. And the Knicks, I get it. They play a little bit of a stronger defense, but that's more at home. I expect a little bit more back and forth and a comfortable win from the New York Knicks, getting away from the Spurs in that fourth quarter. Last but not least, we have the Houston Rockets going up against the Utah Jazz. The Rockets are 37-35, and the Utah Jazz are 29-44. Looking at the current odds right now, you get the Houston Rockets on the money line at a -140. This is a red-hot team here, 10-game winning streak for the Rockets. And on the other side, the Utah Jazz are at a +120 on the get back. The total currently is at 226.5, and the spread, like I said, is at 2.5. So the total opened up at 237 has been bought down. So it's been brought down 11 points here, and moving fast. So everything has it been brought down too much? That's the question. But looking at the current injury report here, mainly for the Utah Jazz, we wait on news for Johnny Juzang and Jordan Clarkson, their sixth man. All right, that's going to hurt things if Clarkson is out, but they do have Lauri Markkanen back for the Utah Jazz, who play better at home, even though they did struggle against the San Antonio Spurs, and this losing streak continues to go along for the Utah Jazz. They are currently on a 7-game losing streak for the Utah Jazz. Rockets, the complete opposite, 10-game winning streak. These two teams have already played, and both of those games went towards the Rockets. The first total was a 253, and the second total was a 266. So both games scoring a ton of points there in Houston, all right? And these Jazz games tend to go over as well. So I think preferably that this number has been brought down a little bit too much. Let it keep going down low. So be patient on this number. Hopefully it closes at a 220. Then I would take the over here in this particular environment. And for this game, I'm going to be going with the red hot team here. I think Houston continues their winning streak against the Utah Jazz, reaches 11-game winning streak here. I'm going to take the Houston money line in this spot. All right. Now, for the other games that I did miss, there's no line out currently for a couple of these games. I'm going to be posting what I think is going to go with total, money line, and spread for the Suns versus Thunder, for the Timberwolves and Nuggets, and for the Sacramento Kings, and I believe that's the Mavericks. So for those three games, I'm going to be posting in the comment section down below, along as well with the 76ers and Cavaliers total. So I will not forget, when that information comes up, I will be posting down below. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you want continued winning bets, please sign up for that Patreon link down below. And I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out.